Nimai Pandit also later on, you will see, he had instructed every household should do Sankirtan in the evening. But then when he went to Bangladesh and came back, he saw that, there was pin drop silence. Nobody was doing Kirtan. And he asked, what happened? Why? Every home is like dead silent. They said, one Qazi, Muslim Qazi came because some Hindus had complained to him that we are making this kind of loud noise, singing Hindu gods' names. So he came and took the mridanga of Shiva's. There is a Shiva's home is called Kol Danga Bhanga. So he took that and he broke the mridanga, threw the kartals away into Ganges, and he threatened the devotees. If anybody is found doing kirtan, I'll come and create trouble and things like that. He said and went. So all the devotees have become very frightened. At that time, Nimai Pandit was very upset to hear this news. He said, why should anyone fear to call the holy names of the Lord? What harm are we doing for others? How can anyone stop us practicing Krishna consciousness like this? And he gathered the mass of people and he went on a protest. And this is first civil disobedience, Prabhupada says. And then everybody lit up the torch, fire torch, and then they headed towards Kazi's house. And then when they reached the Kazi's house, the crowd was very, very angry and upset. But Nimai Pandit said, we are not here for violence. We are here for religious freedom. Every religious person should have the freedom to practice their own religion. Nobody can stop one from worshipping the Lord, who is actually master of everything. So he went in the house and with a handful of people, he met Kasi. And Kasi also heard and asked me. Kasi was a learned person also. He asked many questions about Yajna, about Gomed Yajna, Ashwamedh Yajna and all that. After the discussion, Kasi and Nimai Pandit became such thick friends. Kasi said, for all time to come, I will arrange for sanction for the Harinam Sankirtan to be performed in the streets. And you will find since then, in that locality, even today, when Harinam Sankirtan happens, even the Muslims fold their hands and they bow down to the Harinam Sankirtan. There is a tree where champa tree and neem tree, they grow together from the same root. You will see one tree, the double trees coming from the same root, you will find, which signifies the union between Kazi and Nimai Pandit. So now in the light of this, some of you may have a question. What happened in Bangladesh some time ago? There was one Chinmay Krishna Prabhu, you may be aware, who is currently in the prison. So he gathered a lot of 30,000 Hindus, and then especially those Hindus were against the tormenting of Muslims in different places because they were putting up this Durga Puja festival. Sometimes there was a protest. The 10 days they do this Durga Puja festival. The huge festivals are celebrated, huge Durga deities are brought in the streets and everything. There was in certain places there was some fight and everything. So that led to a kind of, some kind of riots and everything. So he gathered the Hindus and everything and tried to create a protest. Now here comes another important point. When Nimai Pandit gathered the group, the call was that we want to perform Harinam. Let people practice Krishna consciousness. Don't stop them from calling out God's name. Every dharma, every religion talks about calling out God's name. It's a jiva's right, just like a child can cry kwa kwa and then ask for milk from the mother. Every jiva has the right to call out the Lord's name. That was the only demand Nimai Pandit made. So now here, when this Hindu movement was started, Chinmay did. So in that there was a kind of political thing taught by the Muslims, because Muslims are majority in Bangladesh, as you know, and Hindus are a small minority. Like we say, when you are living in a glass house, don't throw stones. Like Rup Sanatan, when they saw that Hindu community will be tormented if they don't join Nawab Hussain Shah, they joined Nawab Hussain Shah and served as Home Minister, Finance Minister. And because of that, the Hindu community was kept peaceful. Hindu community was paying tax to the Mughal government, and life was going on. So they took a Brahminical approach, Rup Sanatan. And just by those two of them assisting the government, the rest of the Hindus could live peacefully. So similarly, you find in Gulf also, the Muslims and Hindus stay together for decades together. You never hear about any riots. That's because there's a kind of symbiotic relation. Many Hindus who go there, they do this, accounts and everything. And the Muslims have a lot of money in their oil wells and everything. So they need chartered accountants, and these fellows need also to make money. And both are symbiotically situated, and life is going on. You never hear about any riots. At the same time, there are many Krishna conscious devotees practicing, peacefully. When he got initiated, his own as Jayaprakash Maharaj, traveling in the Gulf, and many, places. Shamadesh, Sharjah became Shamadesh, Dubai became Damodar Desh, like that, different places, and they're all very serious devotees, super serious practitioners. You can see that, and Krishna consciousness is going on. There is a way in which one should practice Krishna consciousness, and they are able to come in association, and there are even events where 800,000 people also come in a hall, and they practice like that. But the whole idea is we should find out ways and means to practice Krishna consciousness, not stop practicing Krishna consciousness. One shouldn't stop it. But what happened with Srinivakshana and the group was, it became like a political protest. Therefore, he was arrested, and also it created a nationwide uproar and everything. Now things are much more cooled down. So one important thing is, we don't want to conquer the material world and gain material domination. At the same time, we want spiritual freedom to chant Hare Krishna and go back to Godhead. This is my main point. Actually, tomorrow, due to some reason, if any other religion takes over the country and they bring their own rule and their own type of policies and everything, how will we practice Krishna consciousness? Students ask. Some religious people are increasing their population. What will happen to our country? And people ask like that. But I tell them, look at Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Goswamis. They existed at a time when Mughal rule was at the peak at that time. But do you think they were not able to practice? You will see that. The Panchatattva chanted and danced in that time only. And the Goswamis built temples. In case they made a very big temple like Radha Madan Mohan, 3 stories were knocked down by Aurangzeb due to envy. But otherwise, if whatever is external display, people become envious. Like even the Durga Puja festival, it's a very big external display, people become envious. But even 500 years ago, many people are wonderfully practicing Krishna consciousness. You can read the Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami's Chaitanya Charitamrita, and you can read Chaitanya Bhagavad, you will see that people were practicing. Life was going on. But whichever temple was holding a lot of gold, silver, the Mughals attacked those temples to loot the money, because money is something attractive. When they saw that, of course, Indian temples are under the custody of kings, but sometime when the custody was not there, they were looting, and people had to pay heavy tax, which is unfortunate, because you are under a foreign rule, then you have to pay heavy tax. But people were practicing Krishna consciousness. The Krishna consciousness is such a beautiful path that it doesn't require any external things. You don't need it. For bead bag, it's not very costly. And Bhagavad Gita is not very costly. You cook bhoga and offer to Krishna and take prasad. It's not a costly affair. Just a few devotees come and sangha with each other, chant, because material world is a dangerous place. We have to purify our heart and go back to God.